Alright. Today is August 1st, 6:50 p.m. It's time to film another speech. Because why not? Give you guys an update currently going on in my life. I recently decided that I was going to go in the trenches. And the definition of my trenches is I'm waking up at 4 a.m. every day and going to bed at 8 every day. And I have other boundaries within it, but that's the core principle. There's not much else to it. I need to follow my guidelines in there. But what I noticed about this schedule, previously I was waking up at 4 a.m. 4 days a week, Monday to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I would take a break. And then Monday to Thursday, I'd do it again. But the issue with that routine is that I didn't have a consistent sleep schedule. And the consistent sleep schedule fucked up my body clock. And I wasn't able to actually align myself with the times I was supposed to wake up at because they were changing so much. On Friday or on Thursday, let's say, right, I wouldn't even go to bed at 8. I'd probably go to bed at 10, 12, right? And then on Friday, I'm probably up till 1. Then Saturday, I'm going to bed at 12. So it's all over the place. And then Sunday, going to bed at 8, waking up at 4. And I got bored. I got bored of the 4 days a week and the balance that I was creating within it. And yes, there was definitely stability within it, but my best friend is coming shortly from London, and I'll be able to have more than enough fun when he's here and more than enough social time when he's here. So I thought, why don't I just cut everything out? And for however long I need to, until I figure out what I'm looking for, go in the trenches, wake up at 4 a.m., go to bed at 8, and do what I have to do. And the reason why I wake up at 4 a.m. is I work the best, especially in the environment that I live with a bunch of guys. I work the best when I am least distracted, right? And no one else is awake. There's no one to text me. There's no one to call me. Complete silence. When I come out here in the morning to have my morning coffee and sit out here and look into the forest, there's no noise. There's nothing, right? It's just me. It's just me. Me and my thoughts, me and my achievements, me and my goals, and I get to fully pursue them to my fullest, without any distractions, without any concerns for anything, and without having to deal with people's bullshit. The world has so much bullshit, and I'd rather get a few good hours of work done before I have to deal with it. And so that's what I started. It is day 2. I didn't wait for August 1st. I didn't wait for a special Monday. I just did it. And that is a core barrier that you need to break through when building routines. You have to stop this, it's been conditioned with us that new year comes, new year, new me, and Monday, I'll start on Monday, I'll start at 8 p.m., start now. The sooner you start, the better. I realized that it made the most sense in my circumstance to start on a Friday, so I started on a Friday. Woke up at 4 a.m. on Friday, woke up at 4 a.m. on a Saturday. It doesn't matter to me. None of these things matter. I told the people in my life that I cared about, I said, look, the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be fully focused and I'm not be able to provide the attention that I usually do towards you, right? That's a base level understanding. And now I'm able to pursue my goals to my absolute fullest without having to worry about my social contracts and worry about my social delegations. And so that's where I'm at. I don't know what I'm looking for in the trenches. I think innately, the answer that's coming to me in the past 2 days is that I'm looking for complete self-liberation. Step 1 is financial freedom, but step 0 is self-liberation. I'm trying to get to a state of consciousness where I can completely dictate what thoughts are mine, what actions I want to make, and what beliefs I want to have, as well as truly embody the identity of the person I want to be and the person that I am. And going through this heavy stage of complete focus and complete direction towards my purpose, towards my goals, is going to allow me best to do that. One thing I recommend though, is I don't recommend this for everyone, right? Routines for other people may not work for the same as others. We all are innately different, and that's something you have to understand, and that's very important when building routines. Now, one thing that is beneficial is looking at the people that you want to be like, finding the commonalities between them all. Say you find 10 people that you want to be like, right? You find the commonalities between them all. Do they all wake up at a certain time? Do they all walk a certain way? Do they all talk a certain way? And you pull those commonalities and you bring them into yourself, because the commonalities is what matters. Everyone turns into their own branded individual where everything looks individualized. But underneath the layer of branded individualism, there is a layer of commonalities between all of these amazing, great people that you can take in and that you can subscribe to, which will help you become that person. You can't become Ronaldo by doing the exact things he did, right? That's not going to work for you. It never will. You have to find the things that actually works for you and the things that actually provide you the most value. And that is what you need to look for in building a routine. What actually innately works for you, what innately clicks for you, and when do you operate the best? If you work the best between 5 and 10 p.m., operate within that schedule. I work the best when I'm fasted. There is no distractions between 4 and 10 a.m. Those are my best working hours. After 12 p.m., my brain is fried. I exercise. I do lower heavy work, like talking like this. I do things that I enjoy. I talk to people, but I go to bed at 8 so I can wake up and do the most work I can possibly do in that 6-hour span. And that 6-hour span is the most amount of work I'll get done in the entire day, completely focused. I can't sit down for 12 hours and get as much work as I possibly could get done within that 6. Those 6 hours, I get done all of my day's worth of work, right? Because I figured out what works the best for me. And that's what you need to do for you. And it's very, very important that you embrace that aspect within you. And it's not to not go and try all of these things that these people do, like try waking up at 4 a.m. You have to try in order to see what works. But you try it and you alter it and you shift it into ways that work for you and benefit you and actually can work and not just in your life, but the environment you're in. That's something you also have to take into accountability, right? The main reason why I was waking up between Monday and Thursday is because Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the house is really loud because everyone's home, right? So it doesn't make sense for me to wake up at 4 a.m. when the house is really loud. Now, I've decided just to break that barrier and move past it, but that time I set that up, that made a lot of sense for me because it didn't matter to me to go to bed early on Friday, Saturday, when the days are most busy. And it allowed me to also subscribe to my social delegations and also, grow in the social aspect that I wanted to and make the connections that I wanted to in that aspect. But now I'm in a stage where I don't want to do that. And for the next month or however long, might be a week, might be 2 weeks, might be 3, might be 4, might be 6. However long until I find the answer I'm looking for, I'm going to be in the trenches. And I recommend, this is very similar to monk mode. Very, very similar to monk mode. Same thing everyone's been doing for a really long time. I just branded it, called it trenches because it sounds cooler. It sounds cooler, There's one realization that I've come to recently in all of this and building my routine and figuring out what works the best for me as an individual. To truly embody what really works for me as an individual, I've realized that I need to say it works for me in order for it to work for me. And what I mean by that is you need to become so self-delusional that your belief in something is what makes it real. Okay? It's the same way with absolutely everything else. If you say you're not an individual that can wake up at 4 a.m., you'll never be an individual that can wake up at 4 a.m. I made the switch because I wanted to. I said I wanted to, and I said I did, and I did. It's that simple for me, right? And the way I describe this is you need to drown in your ego with awareness. And in simple terms, what that looks like is operating like you know everything, but learning like you know nothing. Be in a situation where you'll sit there and say, I can do this no matter what. I'm able to accomplish this. I have the best chance of doing this by believing I can, but have the awareness to understand that you don't control life. Life moves in a way that we do not understand, and circumstance is something that we cannot control. Only our interpretation of circumstance is which we can control, right? But the environment, circumstances, whether this tree falls is not up to me. That's up to the tree. Whether the way someone acts is not up to me, that's up to them. Right? So what you do is you become so self-delusional and so enveloped within your ego that you have confidence in absolutely everything that you believe in every situation that you're in, because that gives you the the most beneficial state of mind to accomplish that thing you're pursuing, but you allow yourself to be aware enough to allow yourself to grow. Because if you're completely enveloped with ego and all you do is operate off of ego, you think you're the best and you think you're already the best and you think you can't grow, and that will stunt you. And if you think too much with awareness and you don't have any ego, all you're gonna do is grow, grow, grow. You'll never succeed in something. Because you'll go, oh, well, actually, like, this is a bit unrealistic, this is that, that. But if you combine the two and you drown in your ego with awareness, you're able then to not only move like you can do it, but also understand that you don't have complete control of everything. And when things go wrong, that doesn't damage your ego, but you grow and learn from it. So you can be within your ego and still grow and learn. And the best way I describe this is I walk into a room knowing I'm the best in the room, but I understand that everyone else in that room also thinks that about themselves. So it would be a disadvantage for me to walk in there and not subscribe to their egos to gain as much of a competitive edge as I can. I'll walk into a room understanding that I am better than somebody, but they also think that about themselves. So I will subscribe a little to their ego, feed into them being the higher up, and allow that to give me the most value as possible, especially when speaking to somebody far more experienced in life and far more experiences. That allows me to be aware enough to take their experiences into hand and gain the tools and strategies that they've gained through their lived experience and apply that to my own without being so egotistical to think that they're wrong and they're stupid, but while remaining thinking I am better than them. Right? It's a combination of thought that allows you to operate in the best way possible in this realm. And it's a very fine line in balancing the two, because you need to be aware enough to understand that though any given person's personal experience can actually provide you value, but you need to have an ego enough to understand that, to think that you can apply their strategies and their tools better than they did and gain more out of them. And you need to position yourself in a place in society where you present yourself as that aware individual towards that person so that you can gain as much from that person and also have a competitive edge in the room. When people think that they are better than you, as everyone does, every man thinks that when they look at another, they go, I can beat him in a fight. Always first thought, right? And if you give into that and you let them think that they can beat you in a fight, all of a sudden their demeanor will change to you're an opponent to, I want to help this person, because helping them will feed my ego. Because that's the same thing for me. When I sit here and I talk to you and you guys tell me all the great things I say, I feel good about it. It serves my ego. It serves me as an individual because I feel good that I'm providing value to you. And I position this, I was speaking to an interviewer the other day and I understood why he was so good at interviewing, is because he would ask me questions that serve to my ego and that make me feel good in responding, so that when he'd ask another question, it might be even more generic than the deeper question he just asked me, I'd want to give so much more information, so much more value, because of how much I felt it was serving my ego. And that's why you need to be aware, because that tool can also be used against you. But if you're aware enough to understand that this person is acting that way, but they still think they are better than me, they still have an underlying thought that they can kill me at any given moment, then you're able to operate in a scenario where you can even be in that egotistical scenario and be the power and command, but have enough awareness to think that the other person on the side of this camera thinks they're better than me and thinks they know more than me. And the reason why I'm saying this to you is because it provides you more value in the goals that you want to achieve, thinking you are better than me and you can apply my knowledge better than I did. Because that will give you not only the most value in the knowledge that I'm giving you, but also give you the most value in pursuing your life. Because to pursue your life without that competitive edge, without that ego, you will never succeed. You need to be so self-delusional to the point where you'll be somebody like me that says, if I had to kill 5 elephants with my bare hands, I could fucking do it. And say it with such conviction that people believe me. When I said those words on social media the other day, I made a reel talking about if I had to kill 5 elephants, I have a better chance believing that I can kill those 5 elephants. And I said it with such conviction that people believed me. And that is my ego's ability. But obviously I'm aware enough to understand that as a metaphor and to understand that given that situation, I'm aware enough to not be so egotistical against 5 animals to where I'm gonna act stupidly in accordance with my ego, but understand that my ego serves its purpose in thinking I can absolutely demolish those 5 elephants and I have the best chance of doing so by believing I can, and that's the ego aspect. But the awareness allows me to play strategic and play cautious within that realm. Because if I go into fighting those 5 elephants with just my ego, I will lose.